Greetings and salutations, good teachers. My name is Dr. Sandra Jack-Malik, and I'm an assistant professor in the Department of Education at Cape Breton University. I'm here today to launch a YouTube channel entitled The Teaching and Learning Team. This channel started out through a series of questions, and one particular question that Hattie encourages us to consider is, how do teachers select the teaching strategies for their students? He argues that we ought to be purposeful and that we ought to understand the effects of different teaching strategies and what they do to students. So Hattie is a New Zealander. He trained at OISE, and he now is a professor in Australia. He used the technique of meta-analysis. He conducted 800 worldwide, involving 50,000 individual studies and more than 250,000 students. So first, let's back up a bit and just make sure that we all understand what is a meta-analysis. So it's a statistical tool for combining findings from different studies. It's purposeful in that its goal is to identify patterns across the studies that can inform our practice, make us better at what we do. So it looks at what's currently known, and then it makes strong recommendations for practice. The important thing to understand along with meta-analysis and what Hattie leans into is this notion of effect size. So effect size is the magnitude of an impact. And generally studies are designed in one of two ways. You can have two groups. One group is the control group, and it gets the intervention, and one group does not. And then you look at what happened with those two groups. Or it's one group gets the intervention, and you measure difference over time. You measure effect over time. We look at this as D equals 0, and D being difference. So a difference of 0, an effect size of 0, means there's no change in our students' achievement as a result of the intervention. That's not a good thing. If we look at D equals 1, that's one standard deviation of change, and that's considered significant. That's equal to that intervention advancing the student's achievement by 2 to 3 years, which we can each think about that. And if we were working on a child's vocabulary, for example, to have a 2 to 3 year improvement through one intervention would be remarkable. He then went on to create this idea of a barometer of influence. And he argued that if you have a score of negative 20 to 0, then that's negative. It's no impact on the kid at all. Anything from 0.0 to 0.15 means that's just what's going to happen to a child over the course of a year through their maturation. Things between 0.15 and 0.4, that's the typical effects of you doing your teaching to students over the course of the year. And then he introduced this idea of zone of desired effects, and he said that's where we should be aiming. And that's interventions that result in 0.4 or greater difference to the student's learning. And the strategies that I'm going to share with you in upcoming videos, all of them will be from this zone of desired effects. Thank you for watching. Have a good day in school, and we'll see you next time.